there, it's Holly here, and today I'm going to be talking to Carl, who was out of work and took up Gary Boy's Revival career coaching modules to assist him on his next career move. Carl secured a new role, and here is what he had to say about the Revival career coaching sessions he had with Gary.
Talk me through what some of the challenges are with finding a job.
Well, obviously, COVID has had a massive impact, in terms of even why people are looking for jobs at the moment.
Yeah.
And the situation hasn't changed. A lot of companies have hit the pause button. A lot of companies currently are restructuring. A lot of companies are downsizing. So it's a challenging time. It's a challenge to get, to find and identify the right type of job that you want in the right industry, etc. But that has been compounded by the whole kind of impact of COVID. So timing wasn't great for me, but I wasn't happy doing what I was doing, and I saw COVID as actually the trigger point to go and find something that I did want to do. But I needed to understand myself better. I need to, and my confidence levels were incredibly low. That was quite strange. I was surprised how little confidence I had in myself at that point.
Yeah.
To do this on my own. So in terms of kind of why would you go and choose a career coach to help you find a job, it just seemed logical. It's a broken mind can't fix a broken mind, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, total sense. Really good answer, and thanks for being so honest as well, because it's difficult to admit those things. So
yeah, very, very. I was in, again, I'd put myself into quite an awkward and difficult situation at what seemed like the worst time. But on reflection, instead of actually looking at my backstory as something I needed to explain to people, Gary gave me the confidence to not feel the need to explain. He helped me say, listen, Carl, look at your history, look at what you've achieved, look at what you've accomplished. You are a very rounded individual. So in terms of applying for jobs, he absolutely gave me far more confidence in terms of positioning myself for new jobs. It's very difficult for people like me to even write a CV. To write about yourself and about your achievements and your accomplishments is very difficult at the best of times. To get your LinkedIn profile. So when you are applying for jobs, people look straight at your LinkedIn profile, and it's, what do you put into your LinkedIn profile? How much information do you give? How much do you hold back? So in terms of applying for jobs, I didn't know what type of job I wanted. I was more clear about what I didn't want to do again, or where I wanted to go. But in terms of applying for jobs, it's very difficult at the moment. And I think you say you need all the help you can get to build your confidence back in terms of your backstory, so that when you are applying for jobs, you're applying for jobs more on your terms. People of my age and my experience and my kind of seniority in business, we're problem solvers. So we are of value to companies, but it's reminding yourself that you do bring a lot of value. So going back to the original question in terms of what was it like applying for jobs, scary. You don't quite know where you fit. I think a lot of organizations seem to think they can employ a 25-year-old with 30 years experience. And that's not my quote. I borrowed that off of somebody else, but it was very, very relevant. So at the moment, looking for jobs and finding for jobs is as tough as it's going to be. However, I think COVID has actually created a new mindset and a new way of working.
Yeah.
And I think people that have got experience and have, worked through challenging times before have got a lot of value to bring to a new role. So don't just apply for jobs for the sake of it. Is that, apply for the jobs because you can actually make a difference.
Yeah, totally get that. And I love what you said about how you knew what you didn't want, and I think that's really relatable for a lot of people. Exactly what you don't want to do.
Yeah.
You've had bad experiences, or you've had a role you've not enjoyed, and so how do you then sort of know what you do want, because you don't know what you don't know? So
yeah, and so Gary helped me. I mean, I would write lots of notes as I kind of went through with his coaching, and he was able to kind of tease out of me some real gems that I'd forgotten about myself, if that makes sense. And he was able to kind of help me rephrase them. So it would be a positive spin. One of the things he did give me exposure to, because he's obviously got a broad remit in what he does himself, and he does actually, act as a headhunter for people, and he does place people, etc. And I think that part of his business is very relevant, because he can give you some real world feedback in terms of what people look for in a candidate, what people look for in a CV, what people look for in the interview process. So he's not just coaching you from a coach perspective. He's kind of coaching you from a, listen, you could be a prime candidate for me to place, and I want you to be the very best candidate that there is. I want my candidate to get the job, So it's relevant. What he gives you is very relevant. How he gets you to say, in terms of getting your backstory, your bio, your CV up and together, is very relevant about getting a job. So when you do apply for jobs, you feel far more confident. And what was interesting, I actually had some other people, especially in recruitment, look at the bio and the CV that Gary had helped me create.
Yeah.
And I got nothing but praise and good feedback on it. Everyone said, great, covered all the bases, don't need to do anything to it, sort of thing. It's just really now about sort of like molding it around the role or the opportunity. So from that perspective, and I think what made a difference there is that Gary's process, and it is a process, kind of takes you from a low level of confidence to a much higher level of confidence. So then when you are applying for jobs, it's on your terms.
Yeah.
You very much almost interview the company that you're applying to, if that makes sense. You're more confident about asking them questions about the challenges that they've faced. So it puts the shoe on the other foot. Quite remarkable. It's a psychological step change.
I love that, because you always hear about how to prepare for your answers, but no one really teaches you that you should be asking questions to them, do they? It's not really a thing that's sort of talked about.
No. So that kind of guidance and coaching that he gave me, I felt was really beneficial, and it was something that I would be able to use. I think that's the difference. Working with another career coach, it wasn't necessarily stuff I could use in the real world. What Gary gave me was real world usable skill sets and advice.